Hi, I'm Doug McKinlay and you're watching Adorama TV. We're at the Copper Coast in Ireland's County Waterford. And today we're going to look at negative space. Now my usual mantra of tight, 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 fill the frame, fill the frame, fill the frame is going to kind of be left out, because we're going to look at all that stuff in and around your subject, which is the positive space. We're going to open the picture up a little bit and try to add balance to our images.
Adorama TV presents Stay Focused with Doug McKinlay.
So negative space, what does it do, really? It emphasizes your subject. It gives your pictures breathing room. It draws the eye of the viewer into the shot. Now, getting to grips with it, it might seem quite easy, but it takes practice. How much negative space should I put in? How little should I put into the picture? Today, we'll find some tips and tricks on how to make this work better for you. So, when contemplating the correct usage of negative space, there's about 6 things we should keep in mind. Number 1, it reinforces what's important in the picture. It draws your viewer to the main subject, or the positive space. Number 2, as I said before, it's all about balance. For instance, with this cow behind me, we just took a picture of it, and I set it off to 1/3 on the left side of the frame, leaving 2/3 on the right side of the frame as the negative space. That's not a bad balance. Ideally, you want about double the amount of negative space to the positive space. 3, giving your pictures context. Now, this is really important when you're doing environmental portrait pictures, when your background is just as important as your subject or your positive space. For instance, we just took some pictures of fishermen with their fishing boats behind them. We're putting the subject into their place of work, telling the story. Now that's when your framing becomes a really important element. Number 4, breathing room. Generally speaking, you want your subjects to move into the negative space on the frame. This is especially true with action shots. And don't be stingy with your negative space. Open it up a little bit. Give lots and lots and lots of room. This will only draw the attention of your viewer to your subject, which in essence is the most important part of your picture. Number 5, negative space doesn't necessarily have to be empty space. Having a blurred out background doesn't necessarily mean it's a better picture. And what I'm thinking about here is wildlife pictures, mostly large wildlife, where you can get the context of the background as your negative space, giving your subject a location. Number 6, exaggerate the negative space. Now, for the most part, exaggeration in photography doesn't work so hot, except with negative space. Now, you could simplify the picture by stripping the color out of it. Then all you've got left is the shapes and sizes to give your picture some punch. Another alternative approach that you could try involves the textures in your shot. You could try to take away all the textures from your shot simply by taking pictures of silhouettes. Try this approach to really give your viewers something to stare at. So our last subject today is mood, how negative space can affect the mood in a picture. But before we get to that, I'm going to set up my tripod and my camera, and we're going to use a 6-stop Lee Little Stopper neutral density filter to put a little bit of action in the water that we're going to be shooting that's behind me. So we'll get to the tripod first. This one happens to be an Induro tripod, which are quite good and reasonably priced. It's not carbon fiber, it's alloy. It's not much heavier than carbon fiber. It's just a lot cheaper. It's just as good, is my opinion. So quickly set up. Just remember when you're setting up your tripods, if you don't need all the elevation, the height, keep the bottom skinny legs in and use the fatter legs. It just gives you a little more stability. Now, because we're on the beach, you have to consider that things put on sand tend to sink. So if you look around, you can find some stones and just put the legs on top of some stones. They'll act as little platforms to help sort of give a little strength to your pod, okay? And this is a quick release ball head, so it just snaps in like so. Lock it in place, make sure she's all tickety-boo. Now, a lot of tripods these days come with a little hook on the bottom of the center column. This is a really good little tool too if it's a windy day like today. where once I've got my ND filter on, I will hang my camera bag off this little hook, which will help give stability to the tripod. Okay. So we're all set up. We've got our ND filter, our 6-stop ND filter on our lens. We've chosen our composition and we're ready to go. Now, as I said earlier, mood. Negative space has a fantastic ability to alter the mood of an image. It can convey sadness, happiness, lightness, heaviness. Its visual weight is incredibly flexible, but it's up to the individual photographer to figure out what the composition is and what the mood's going to be. So we're going to go ahead and get our shots. That's our shot. Looks great. So that's it for me. I'm Doug McKinlay for Adorama TV. Don't forget to subscribe to Adorama TV for more great videos. And tell us what you think. You can like, share, or comment on this video. And please stop by the Adorama Learning Center for more great tips and tricks.
Do you want great looking prints at low cost? Be sure to visit our easy to use online printing service. Adorama Pix has professionals who treat your images with the utmost care that you can count on. For a quick turnaround on photos, cards, or albums, use AdoramaPix.com.